Hey gang, give me just 1 second here. What I'm working on here this morning is, as I said, just the finishing touches on this portrait. And I'm going to move you guys to a better vantage point in just a minute. But let's get official first. Good morning. My name is Dan Nelson. This is Daily Art Adventure. I always have to read it. I can't remember between the time I write it down and I start broadcasting. 948. Woohoo! Final touches on this wedding portrait of dear Rachel and Jake. First of all, let me let you just get a overall view of the painting. Let me see if it's any better if I turn this off. No, you just get a glare from somewhere else. Whoops. How about this? Let's try this. Turn off both of those. Oh, well, no. Anyway, there you go. It's impossible to get a good view. So sorry about that. Okay, so I'll move you around then. All right, so here's what it looks like. Here's some of the texture up close. And the word texture in this case, of course, refers to a great extent to soft texture or soft edges. I'm pretty happy with this painting because I feel like I have hit the balance between hard and soft edges pretty well. And again, I'm sorry for that horrible glare you're getting there and there. Anyway, I like the color. I like this hard and soft balance. And even though I'm not finished, I like the portraits. All right, now I'm gonna see how close I can get you guys in here. I don't think I've ever tried to get this camera. Doesn't exactly have telephoto. There's about as close as I can get. And I want to talk a little bit in this broadcast. I hope to be a good teacher. I hope to talk about how I accomplished or executed this portrait. As you can see, this is slightly larger than this. Usually I try to make my print exactly the same size, but in this case I blew it up anyway. But I think that's a pretty good likeness in both cases. I made Jake a little handsomer. I'm kidding, Jake, if you're listening, just picking on you. Okay. Let me show you just for a minute. I believe, I can't prove this, but I think this is the smallest wedding portrait I've ever done. And I went and got a penny just to give you a sense of scale. Each of their faces easily fits, not their whole head, but their face easily fits inside one American penny. So that just gives you a sense of scale. This is ridiculous. How did I get myself into this mess? Well, before I proceed, let me show you a couple tricks that I have done. As you know, I'm a 66-year-old human being, so I wear glasses. But when I'm doing stuff like this, I wear my prescription glasses and reading glasses at the same time. How's that for a fashion statement? I'm always so glad that my children are grown up and moved away so they can't see me, because they would be utterly mortified. Dad, you look so stupid. So there you go. That's quite the bite of humiliation to show you guys what I actually look like with. But anyway, that helps me. And when that wasn't good enough, as a matter of fact, I also used literally a magnifying glass. And it's funny, when you look at this painting, which you can't do, but when you look at it, it looks so smooth to the naked eye or normal glasses. Look at it here, it's like mountains and valleys of paint. I mean, it's just, in a way, here's a funny, in a way, it's a much better painting blown up because it actually is quite abstract. There's lots of energetic brush strokes and so forth. All right. So let me take a minute. I was going to teach a class this November at Art of the Carolinas. Some of you know about it. Google it. It's been canceled. But the name of the class was Portrait Painting for the Rest of Us. I was going to spend the 3-hour class basically throwing every technical trick of the trade that I know for how to accomplish accurate copying or rendering of a portrait. Now, let me back up since I've gone that far and say, okay, if you rely heavily on photomechanical tricks in order to get your painting done, that's perfectly legal. Please understand me. Nothing wrong with that. Almost all the great artists through history used photomechanical tricks. But here's a big caveat, great big but coming up. But the more you rely on photomechanical tricks, the more your drawing skills deteriorate. Not only do you not increase in your skill, you can actually decrease in your drawing skill. So, and again, if you follow me much, you'll hear this over and over and over again. So always try to exercise your drawing muscle first. Work your brain first, and then utilize tricks of the trade. Okay, so that's certainly what I did here. But I want to take just a few minutes. I don't think I've told you about this, but I don't think I've ever really walked you through it. So let me give you, besides, first of all, here's one trick. If you have access to a printer, excuse me, I'm going to move this again a little bit more because I want you to be, all right about there? All right. If you have access to a computer, Photoshop computer printer, print out your reference the exact same size as your painting. Now, I already mentioned I failed to do that in this case, but it's close enough. All right, now here's my backup Android phone. Okay, and here is the photograph of Rachel and Jake that I took the other night at the wedding. Here's the, before I cropped it, here's how big it was, then I cropped it like this. Now, before I forget to do this, let me just talk to you iPhone people versus Android people for a minute. I'm a Mac guy. I am a Macintosh, Apple guy because I'm an artist, right? But when we started, my wife and I, on smartphones 20 years ago, she went out and bought an Android. So we've been Android people, you understand? So I kind of like abandoned ship. But it turns out to be a good thing. Here's one of the main things that an iPhone doesn't do well. On an iPhone, you could take, well, let me back up. On an iPhone, you could take a picture like this, and you could magnify it about this much. Watch. That's about all you can do on an iPhone, right? That's about all you can go. I want you to see that again. And I've played around on an iPhone enough to know it's pretty close to that. Take a picture on an iPhone. Now, they may have fixed this with version 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever version they're on now. They may have fixed this, but last time I checked, they hadn't. So those of you guys with an old iPhone, I know that's as far as you can go. So here's the advantage of the Android phone. Keep watching. There. Do you see the difference? And I thank God that my wife got us into Androids, because I have used this function ad nauseum. I've used it like crazy. Again, the difference is iPhone, you can blow it up that much. Android, you can blow it up that much, and it's very helpful, especially for color matching. All right, so that's just a, because I don't want you Android people, I don't want you iPhone people to go, I don't get it, my phone doesn't do that. So that's why, okay? Unless they fix that. All right, so this morning when I came up to my painting here, the first thing I did is I took a picture. I'm going to move you again. I took photographs. Let me use the word photograph so as not to get confused between painting and photograph. I took a photograph of my painting. And I just want you to know, and iPhone, Android, either one works. Many times, many times, here's a trick number one. Simply taking a photograph of your painting will help you see mistakes, errors, inaccuracies that you don't see with the painting. I don't know why. I have a hunch. I'm not going to go into it. Okay? Just tell you, everybody has a smartphone, right? By the way, if you don't have a smartphone, please do not watch any more of this broadcast. This is not for you. All right. For some reason, you can see mistakes here that you wouldn't see there. All right, so, but that's just the beginning. If you have a smartphone, I'm assuming you know this, although, to be honest, I've discovered many of you don't. If you have a smartphone, then your phone has an edit capacity in the photograph. So hit edit, edit. There's a whole bunch of things you can do, one of which is flop it horizontally. Did you see that? You see what I'm doing? There's the right way. There, it's flopped horizontally, or mirror image is another word we might use. This is like looking at it in a mirror. So here's what I do. I take a picture of my painting. Sometimes I can see mistakes just from that. The next thing I do, I've already done this here, as you can see, is I turn it into a mirror image. Are you with me so far? Now again, I know that I'm going deep with you guys that are, only those of you who are interested in portrait tricks of the trade. Listen to me. Number one, take a picture with your phone. You'll catch a lot of stuff just by doing that. I want to be a little bit harsh because I want to be a good teacher and I want you to be a good painter. Please don't bring your portrait to your painters group and set it up in front of the crowd if you have not done this. I'm being a little harsh, you understand? I've told people this. I've told struggling portrait painters this many times. Some of them have yet to do what I said. So it's like, you're not very good. Why aren't you doing what I tell you? Being really harsh now, okay? Do this with every portrait. I'm talking to you early journey portrait painters. Not if you're a big dog famous guy, you're just laughing at me right now because you're so good you don't even have to do any of this stuff, okay? But the rest of us, like I said, portrait painting for the rest of us. You take a picture first and look at it. You'll see things that you didn't see. Secondly, you flop it. So that's what I have here. And just by flopping it, that is looking at it in a mirror image, just by doing that, typically, here's what happens. I go, oh, because I see a whole bunch of stuff. Now, there are some people that are so good they don't need to do this, but none of you are watching this video. Do you understand? So I do that. Now, the next thing I do, let's go back to looking at my screen here. We're going to go deep here for just a few minutes today. Next thing, if you have a smartphone, if you don't have a smartphone, you're not watching this video because this has nothing to do with you. Okay, there's only artists who have entered the 21st century. A little bit of sarcasm there. All right, here's an app you need to have. There's a whole bunch of them out there. Here's the one I recommend. Can you see that little icon right there? It's called Photo Collage. That one right there. All right, and I'm going to hit the, tells you what kind of collage do you want. Now I say I want the side-by-side one. Then to tap this picture, what do I want there? I want the photograph. What do I want here? I want the photograph of my painting. All right, now I can make these exactly. Whoops, I'm sorry. This one's backwards. Forgive me. Hang on. Let's change this one. I made a mistake there. I didn't realize that was the mirror image. There we go. All right. So are you with me now? Some of the collage apps that you can buy, when you squeeze the photographs to fit in a space, they morph. They get tall, skinny, short, fat, whatever. So you don't want that. You want one that just allows you to make larger and smaller without changing the ratio. Okay, so I'm going to try to get those same size. Okay, then I save that. Oh my goodness, little politics there. That's funny. Okay, then the next, then I'm going to skip ahead. Let me just skip ahead. I'm getting lots of commercials here, and that's irritating. So I make two collages. One of the photograph side by side with the painting. And then I make another collage in that same app with the photograph flopped and the painting flopped. And then I make another collage that has all four of them. Are you registering? Here, let me cover this up so you're not confused. So at the top is a photograph of my painting, mirror image flopped. And the photograph of the bride and groom, also flopped. So I can compare. Whoops, my finger's touching the screen. Come on. Okay, then underneath it, I have likewise both images unflopped, or the way they are in the painting, right up there. So I can look at all of them together. Now again, here's just a little, unless iPhone has mended their ways, here's a little advantage. See, I can still blow this thing crazy up if I want to, which iPhone can't do. Here's what an iPhone can do, just to give you an iPhone can go like that. That's about as much as an iPhone magnifies. But for some reason, the Android people, thank God, decided to let us blow things way up. All right, are you with me? Now, if by any chance you are in your studio, office, home office, whatever it may be, and you have access to a computer and Photoshop, and actually I didn't need Photoshop, just a computer and a printer. Then I take this image, let me show it to you again. I take this image right here, and I hit share, and I email it to myself. I email it to my computer, which is, you can't see, but it's right over there. You can hear it playing music. Register, follow me, email to my computer. Then I bring it up on my computer. I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I still have it in my computer. Hang on just a second. Open recent. Yeah, okay, good. So here, I'll be as give you as little abstraction as possible. So there we go. So I've got this image now in Photoshop. And guess what I do next? Well, there's all kinds of things I could do in Photoshop, by the way, but I skipped that today. Basically, I printed it out on my printer, which of course is right there. There's what comes out on my printer. All right, now let's turn you back around. You guys are getting dizzy, aren't you? Because I want to show you what I do. Now, I can't do this out in the field, of course, when I'm doing a wedding painting on location. Although I've seriously considered, haven't done it yet, but I will one day. If I'm driving to New York, whatever, to do a wedding, I will take my computer and my printer with me to the hotel room. All right, so I've now, that image that was here on my phone, you with me? That image is now printed out, which is a lot easier to work with because it's bigger. Then I spent several minutes, again, this part right here is the mirror image. I can see my mistakes better here because my eyes are worn out of looking at it straight on. When I do mirror image, my eyes are fresh. So what I did, and I had one of these funky, fun little multicolored pens. Let's see if we can get close enough you can actually see my work. I think I can. All right, so I started here with a green pen, and I said, okay, I need to bring Jake's hairline down a tiny bit. And I've numbered them. This is me being obsessive compulsive. I admit it. I am OC. I try to draw the line at OCD. Okay. 1, 2. Here's all the changes I marked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I marked 10 different changes. I want that to sink in. Then the same thing on her. Came up with 7 different changes, including, by the way, moving her entire mouth north about a 64th of an inch. Okay. Whew. Now, and again, I hope somebody watches this who needs it, because otherwise I'm just boring the rest of you to tears. I understand that, and giving you all a circus ride and stomachache at the same time. Hello, Lavender Melody. Hello, Sid the Myth. Yes, exactly right. Sid, you're exactly right. Now, do you understand this right here? I'm sure you do. I keep saying it. It's a mirror image. It's a flopped image of that. So it would be quite difficult to take all my notes and apply them to the painting. So I don't. Here's what I do. I take all my notes here and just basically replicate them here. I just say, okay, number 1, hairline. Number 2, angle of brow. Number 3, eyelid. Number 4, line of nose, blah, blah. So I take all these, and this right here probably took me 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so just to give you, not 2 minutes, not an hour. Okay, so just to give you a realistic sense of how long am I taking. So 10, 15 minutes, and then another 5 minutes to take all these marks and put them down here. Now, look at, now, indeed, I can look at this and translate directly to my painting. At which time, I sometimes wore 2 pairs of glasses, and sometimes, ridiculous, used a magnifying glass. And of course, as you can assume, I was using a Winsor Newton Series 7, in this case number 1 brush, with a magnifying glass. And I made a bunch of changes, and I'm quite happy. Now, I saved one change to do on camera. Okay, it is, and let's zoom in here as close as we can. Okay, one. After doing all this, I still not see. I could do this whole thing. I could take a picture and do it all again if I need to, and I have done that sometimes. Thank God I don't have to do this time. But I've discovered that the top right, his left, my right, the top right of his mouth curves down slightly more. I have to get you guys more out of the way. Hang on. The top left edge of his mouth curves downward. Hang on. Let me get my palette completely out of the way here. I just want you to watch this operation. Part of this lesson here, gang, is an artist does what he needs to do to get the job done. Do you understand? And because I think sometimes early journey painters think that it's just a cakewalk. Oh yeah, you just paint. Oh yeah, how'd you get so good? Oh, you just paint. Hogwash. You don't just paint. You work your buns off. Okay, you work hard. So now you're in my way, so I'm gonna move you again. All right. So here with a magnifying glass and a number 1 brush. Move the top lip. Needs to curve down just a little bit more. Oh, we get a little static. Hang on just a second, gang. I'll fix that in just a minute. my goodness, look at that. Yeah, that's better. All right, static gone. Whew. All right. So I am declaring, as of this minute, I declare that the portrait part of this painting is done. Hallelujah! Yahoo, 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 yahoo. Now, the portrait's not done, but the realism, the hard work of capturing a likeness is done. Again, in case you guys missed it a little while ago, how big are these? I think this is the smallest wedding portrait I've ever done. Smaller than a penny. It's okay, it's ridiculous. Now, let's talk about style a little bit, and let's work on it. Now, here's this, I will admit right off the bat, here is the scary part of the painting process. I told you a little while ago. And by the way, and this is pretty typical of my wedding paintings in that the overall painting is done in my signature style, which I call abstract realism. And I got that from David Lefel. I think it's L-E-F-E-L. Got years ago, heard him describe that, and I said, bingo, that's what I am. Okay, so all the painting is done my native style, with the exception, as you can see, of these dizzy little portraits, which are virtually photographic. I mean, considering how small they are, right? Those two things don't fit together very well. Now, I'm okay with that. It's a style. I am not, by the way, this is not unique to me. I'm not the only one who paints in this way. But the last thing, besides signing it, the last thing I want to do to this painting is try to make the portraits jive a little bit better with the rest of the painting. So I'm going to zoom back in here again. Whew. Now, if you follow me often, you may have heard me refer to this step of the process, which I also do on larger portraits, until I'm a better portrait painter, which every portrait I do, I get slightly better, right? That's good news. Doesn't mean it shows up in every painting and every portrait, but with every portrait, I become more experienced. So, yahoo, that I've done, I believe it is 35 portraits since the coronavirus shutdown. So I'm 35 portraits better. I call it, I call it sargentizing. It's making my overly tight, overly drawn, tongue-painted portraits a little freer, looser, more like John Singer Sargent. And one way to do that is to add looseness. This is a fake it till you make it kind of thing, gang, okay? This is fake it till you make it. Add looseness as a separate category after you're all done. So here's the challenge in front of me right now. Right now I'm starting, by the way, with the easy stuff, which is clothing and figures. So I'll get a little more tight when it comes time to do their faces. All right, I'm going to leave her just like that for now, her dress. Now let's come over here and work on Jake's suit. So I'm mixing up a gray, pretty much the color that's already there. I'm just going to mess up the edges and make some of the gray from his suit bleed. By the way, this is a very technical, arcane, wooden application of a principle I often mention, which is, right, here's the principle. The human eye likes to see little bits of the object spill into the background, and little bits of the background spill into the object. And the analogy, the word I usually use is a barn. Red barn, blue sky. We like to see red from the barn that has escaped into the sky. We like to see blue from the sky that has escaped or interposed into itself into the barn. In this case, the human eye likes to see little bits of gray suit spilled over into the background, and let's do the other half now, and little bits of gray, reddish brown, mustard color, whatever you want to call it, of the background violating his suit. Okay, there, done. So actually, another way to describe that, I've just softened up the edge of his suit a good deal, and it really does look better. Now, I'm telling you, you don't have to agree with me. Now it looks like it's out there on the same plane. I did the same thing to her arm, blended some of the arm into the background. And so now it looks like one painting, not like a painting with a photograph glued to it. I'm going to do a little bit more. I think the collar of his shirt should still be wet. No, not wet enough. Okay. So let me pick up some white. I'm just going to drag. Now, do you see that's too much? Here's one of the nice things about painting like this. It was too much, and then I can wipe it off. There. Now it's perfect. Just a little bit of that collar goes into the background, but just a little bit. What else? How about his shirt sleeve? No, that's dry. There we go. So now the figures are just a little bit more messed up, and their bodies look definitely better. They feel now like they're part of the painting. Now comes the scary part. Well, let's go to the not so scary part. Let's do hair first of all. Okay, so I've got his dark hair. I'm putting some fresh, whatever color his hair is, very dark brown, and then just smear it. And if that's not enough, let's do it again. There, that's all I did is soften that edge, which integrates his face with the rest of the painting. Let's do the same thing on her now. So she's got blonde hair. By the way, just for what it's worth, if you want to paint blonde hair, a good shortcut is yellow ochre in titanium white. Is pretty close to blonde. So that's what I'm going to do right here. A little bit of fresh yellow ochre and white. I'm just going to smear it. That's okay. Can do a little bit more. And by the way, this serves a double function of giving the bride. I do this a lot, by the way, on brides. Giving the bride a bit of a literal halo glow. She is literally glowing. Yeah, perfect. I'm sorry to say such nice things about my painting, but doggone, that's perfect. All right, now I could stop right there, and if I'm smart, maybe I will. So much for being smart. Okay, I'm going to now, let's get a little bit more careful. I'm going to pick up a number 3 Winsor Newton Series 7 brush, and let's start with her. So here's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do too much smearing or crazy stuff. I mean, I spent hours, literally, well, maybe 2 hours. Okay, I don't want to, not 7 to 8 hours. Maybe literally spent 2 hours getting their faces, quote unquote, perfect. All right. So I don't want to mess them up. And they're still slightly wet, very slightly. But here's one thing I can do. I'm trying to mix up the color, and you guys need to get in here closer again, don't you? So hang on, let me move you. The color that's on her cheek, bear with me just a minute. You guys are really getting a circus ride today, I know it. All right. I've tried to match what's there. Let's see if I'm going to put my Superman glasses on again, 2 pairs of glasses at the same time. And I'm just going to take this stroke. Yeah. That's almost too much. So just turn the brush around. There we go. Up. Let's fix the top of that stroke. Do you see what I'm doing though? And this might be all I do. I don't know. All I'm doing is the final strokes, final marks on her face. Now let's do her teeth. And by the way, I mean I could get more involved, but I don't push my luck. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna mix up a little bit of whiter white than what's there. There we go. Nope, too much. Here's a tool I find very useful when I'm doing fussy stuff. A X-Acto knife with a curved blade. My goodness, believe it or not, I thought I was done with magnifying glass, but I'm not. So now, let me look at that now. I mean, the tolerances here are ridiculous. Since I did that on her teeth, I want to add some of that to her dress. It should be, of course, whiter than her teeth. If I can, another word I haven't used yet is impasto, thick paint. This is a good time, if I can get any thickness at all in the paint, in order to just sargentize it, as to give that sense of boldness of stroke. And again, this is everything I'm doing now. You could put under the heading of "fake it till you make it." I'm not good enough to paint like John Singer Sargent. Doggone it, I wish I was, but I'm not. But until I am, I'm just going to fake it. I'm going to do what I have to do to get the job done. Let's do one more highlight on her pretty blonde forelock there. Coming down. That's just a little impasto right there. A little too much. There we go. That's good. All right, I'm basically going to do the same thing now to his face. First, I'm going to mix up a little bit of flesh tone. It's very close to what's already the highlight of his face. Bear with me, I'm over here mixing paint on my palette. Okay, let's see if this is the right color. His complexion is a little more pink than hers. Nope, that's too bright. Hang on. Hang on. We don't want to ruin things here at the last second. That would not be fun. Okay, let's see if this is the right color. Okay, I think that's close enough, and I want to photograph again. Make sure I put the highlight in the right place. Oh yeah. See, now my goal here is not to blendy, blendy, blendy. That's a little bit too light. So let's darken that a little bit. Okay, let's try this. A little bit on the bridge of his nose. Nostril. Top of cheek. Once again, I can imagine a lot of people saying, oh, I'm a lot better than you are. I don't have to do all that. And that's good. Good for you. So I'm only trying to instruct people who are behind me in the process, not ahead of me. I'm going to use this knife now to actually spread out some of that paint without getting too tight. Okay, is that it? I don't like how it looked on that cheek right there. So again, to use some other language, you could correctly say, I am trying to mess up my painting a little bit. Does that make sense? Yes, indeed. I'm trying to make it a little messier because I've got accuracy. I trust the accuracy of my painting, but I don't have style. I don't have a style that I like. Therefore, there, I think that might be enough. How about one more on his chin, I mean, and then all right, let me take all my glasses off, my multiple glasses off. And back you guys up too. Let me take a look at that now through, if you will, natural eyes and see if I like it. There's something on his forehead that's bothered me. I actually don't think it's color. I think it's a bump of paint. Let me see if I can do anything about it. Good enough. I just scratched off a tiny bit. So now, and I know you guys, you certainly can't see that, see this at 8-year range, but now the energy in their faces, definitely in their bodies, fits the rest of the painting much better. Even a little bit in their faces. And everything I just did, I tried to do without sacrificing a likeness, right? And I think I've accomplished that. Whew. All right. There you go. Once again, what does an artist do to make a living? You know the answer to this, don't you? Anything he or she can. That's how you make a living as an artist. Do whatever you need to do. Take that. You know what I mean by that. Well, I hope you know what I mean by that. Anyway, you work hard. You do all kinds of stuff. Even humbling yourself to the point of wearing 2 pairs of glasses at the same time. And stuff like that. I'm getting my brush ready to do my signature. And you guys don't need to, I do my signature. I give you my signature rant enough times. I'm trying to mix up a color. It's generally this, the color of this highlight. I ran into another painter just the other night, a couple days ago. She was a decent, hobby adventure painter. Had scores of her paintings all over her house and not one readable signature on any of them. Okay, so let me modify my signature rant just a little bit since I'm still going. Won't you watch me do my signature? Let me tell you why so many early journey painters don't sign their paintings right. I usually talk about how to do it. I'm not going to tell about, today I'm going to talk about why you don't. Put on your seatbelt. Many of you don't sign your paintings. Basically, it's one word. Shame. You don't feel like you're worthy. I know it's not everybody, but this is a whole lot of you. You're not worthy. Your paintings are not good enough. So you'll do, here's several things you do. Number one, you don't sign it at all. Okay, that's the worst. Number two, you only use your initials. And I just want you to know, you guys, you're using your initials because you're ashamed of yourself and your work. And just get the hell over it. I hope my mom's not listening. Just get over it. Stop that. You're a worthy human being. If you put some of your time, soul, and energy into a painting, then it's worth your signature. Okay, the next thing people do is they sign it like right down here, which is like, oh, forgive me for breathing. I'm so sorry that I take up good oxygen on the planet that could be used for people more worthy than I. Do you understand? That is horrible. Horrible. And way too many of you struggle with that kind of crap. Horrible attitude. No, you are a worthy human being. Your artwork is worth it. You can tell by my signature that I am not ashamed of myself, my life, my signature, or my artwork. And of course, some of you saying, yeah, well, if I was as good as you, I wouldn't be ashamed either. Oh, no, you got it backwards. You got it backwards. Come out of shame first, and your art will follow you. Don't insist that you get good, and then you'll stop being ashamed. No, it works the other way around. Ditch the shame, and you will improve. All right, that's end of sermon. Not that a bunch of you didn't need to hear it. I suspect a bunch of you did. So I'm glad I gave it to you. There you go. Love you. I want you to be a good painter. I want you to be a good artist. I want you to be a good person. That's another subject. But thanks for hanging out with me. Hey, I'm completely missing all of my chat. So let me take just a minute and go back and see what some of you guys have said. I already said Lavender Melody and Sid the Myth. Hello, let me try this. Auntie Hakosari from Japan, I presume. I have a brother who's Japanese. Hello, Barbara. Good to hear from you again. Barbara asks a question. Would your notes show up well enough if you flipped it on a light table or a light bulb near the table? You mean if not show up on my video, but show up to myself? Yes, I think that's a good idea. Christy says, have you seen the rechargeable LED eyeglasses bracket, headband, interchangeable magnifier? Got my, whoa. Is that like a jeweler's magnifying glass? Sounds cool. Thank you. Hello, Areli Barajas. Thank you for watching again. And Janixon. And Pipoka Sad. Hello, Pipoka Sad, maybe. Thank you all for speaking up. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And whew, big relief. Happiness always is finishing a painting. And I'm going to declare this finished, hopefully deliver it tomorrow after I varnish it. Okay. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.